We need to talk about South Africa, and we need to talk about the level of coonery that is taking place. Now, this gave me an emotional reaction, and that was to paint the entirety of South Africa with a brush. But after a while, I realized that okay, that's obviously not the case. South Africa isn't a country full of coons. Okay, in reality, what we have here is a small percentage of disgusting human beings making the entire country look bad. And Dr. Umar said it. Okay, Dr. Umar said we need to bring back slavery. And here's the thing: when he said it, I laughed because he's Dr. Umar. You don't take everything he says seriously. But the more coonery I see, the more I understand his perspective, what he was actually saying. Some of you niggas are so disgusted and you're on the white man's tits so hard, you might as well be a slave again. Now that's figuratively, but also literally as well. Some of you don't deserve. You don't deserve to be amongst us, I'll be real.
Go back to your countries. We are tired of you guys. Go back to your countries. You destroy your country. You come to South Africa to destroy your country.
We know you, the media, are trying to label us as xenophobic, as if we're hating other Africans. We love our fellow brothers. We know their contribution in our struggle as South Africans. We know that they all contributed, but we are saying migration must be lawful. Document everybody.
So start making arrangements. Let me say this. Now, today, when you get home, start making arrangements for where are you going to get that baby from? Where are you going to deliver that baby? Because here you are not coming. Pretoria West, you are not coming. We don't want you anymore. Start making arrangements where you are going to deliver that child. Because here we don't want you. Yeah, you can go into Ramaphosa's house. He will help you deliver the child.
No, leader, even Julius Malema.
Yeah, even Julius Malema. Wrong person. Are you not pregnant? Are you not using our facilities free? Are you not?
I knew there was a problem with South Africa from the time I heard the story about how they lost to the Brits. Okay, it was very confusing because really and truly, when the Brits would go and colonize these countries, they'd send like a small group of them, right? They'd send like a group of them, maybe a couple thousand, okay? And I'm wondering, how the hell did the Zulus lose to these Negroes? Now, they had advanced weaponry, but I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like they still should have won. I feel like they still should have won, okay? Maybe that's me being ignorant. And maybe I am being facetious, I am. But I seen this interview one time, right? There was these Africans talking. You had the South Africans and then this other guy who's from another country in Africa. And he was radical. He was saying, you guys need to take back the land from the white people. They stole your shit. This don't make no damn sense. They control all the wealth. They're like 5%, they're still there. And you had the South Africans who they were sitting there and they said, no, but that's not democratic. And I said, that's when I really knew there was a problem in that country. I said, in my mind, I'm thinking, is this like a common thought process among South Africans? That it's not democratic to take back the land that was stolen from you? They stole your land and then they said, guys, democracy. And you just accept that. The biggest problem with what's going on in South Africa right now isn't even the fact that they're being xenophobic. That isn't even the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that they're very okay with the white people who are occupying the majority of their wealth. They say nothing. They do nothing. But when is black people coming over and migrating, they're doing marches? What is actually going on? This is ridiculous. And this is why there's no saving Africa. You know, you have a few countries in there that, you know, I believe in. You know, Ibrahim Traore, you know, Burkina Faso, Mali, and there's a few others. But the rest, even speaking to Africans, right? They have more of a problem. And I was speaking to a Ghanaian lady. They have more of a problem with other Ghanaians who aren't of their tribe or who live in a different area than they do white people. They're only using like 6% of their oil reserve. Right? They don't use anywhere near the full amount of their resources because they're all given to white people. But they're more focused on beefing other black people within their country. It's not confusing or surprising that a lot of these people are the way they are. Just understand this. Understand this. Africa's the richest continent in the world, but it's the poorest. You have to have a lot of stupidity going on within, not only within the country, but on the leadership level as well, to be in that position where you are the richest continent on the planet with the worst quality of life. You have shit leadership, and then you have a bunch of stupid people as well who are more focused on beefing each other. This is actually incredible.
What is xenophobic about telling an African migrant to go build their country? We are a laughingstock in the entire continent. African people don't believe in building.
You think you're a laughingstock on the continent because there's other Africans migrating into your country? Are you retarded? You think that's the reason why you're a laughingstock?
Just look at this thing, my bro. These are foreigners. The foreigners are in their houses, they're sleeping nicely, and we, of South Africa, we are out here in this cold, catching cold, and these foreigners, they don't have papers, and just look at. They're all sleeping nicely in their houses. They're sleeping really nice in the house. We are here outside. They must go back to their country. They can't come here to take our sleep from us. Some mothers. Fucking shit.
They're taking your sleep? What the fuck? They're literally white people. They're literally the white people of South Africa. This is literally how racist white people are. Oh, they come in here, they get in the hotel, they're getting 3 meals a day and Wi-Fi. Oh wow. Fucking hell, mate. Like the bare minimum? 3 meals a day and Wi-Fi? The bare minimum? You're so angry about it. Now they're taking your sleep? What? Within all that, though, we have to remember that this isn't a representation of all South Africans. There are a lot of South Africans who are disgusted, rightfully so, by this heightened, elite level of coonery taking place.
And another thing, when did we as South Africans stop being Pan-Africanist? Like, are we forgetting that we were literally the last African country to gain its independence? Zimbabwe was independent before us, Malawi, Mozambique, all of our neighbors. So who do you think applied pressure on the apartheid regime? Who do you think made it difficult for the apartheid regime to just operate because they had all of our borders locked and loaded? It just like, I don't know, it feels like we're now turning around and saying F you to all the people that literally helped us get to the point that we're at now, just because we're the ones that have it sweet. I don't know. My question, guys, hey, don't fight me. My question is just, when did we stop being Pan-Africanist? When did we stop having the interest of Africans at heart? Or we're just happy with yes, bus, no.
Imagine living amongst the people who enslaved you, stole your land, took you as servants, right? The remnants of those people still exist in South Africa. Their descendants still exist in South Africa. That is what white people are in Africa, by the way. The biggest difference between black migrants in the West, white migrants in Africa is the white migrants are descendants of slave owners, murderers, cannibalistic people, the worst people on the planet. Their descendants are still in South Africa. That reminder is still there. But you're focused on poorer black people.
Yet another xenophobic attack happening in South Africa. Can I share that this is not a reflection of us South Africans? Not at all. This is not who we are. There's a small group of South Africans that is making sure that this news becomes continent-wide by these xenophobic attacks. Most South Africans, I repeat, most South Africans are against this. Sadly, we are quiet about it. This is led by Jacinta. Now the question I always ask myself is why is she not doing this march to march in Cape Town, where there's a lot of Germans, French, Netherlands, and Americans there? Why is she not doing it? I live in Cape Town, so I know Cape Town pretty well. She knows damn well she does not stand a chance there, and that tomorrow morning there will be a number of massacred bodies under her name. She doesn't want to take that chance. Instead, she wants to attack the vulnerable and the weak. That is unconstitutional in every way. It is un-South African to do so. Our Constitution rejects this. But then she might have the rhetoric that, oh, immigrants are creating all the crime. Immigrants are having syndicates here. Yes, it is true. There is some syndicates that is happening inside the townships. And there is some crime that is led by immigrants. But do you want to know the percentage rate of which they are doing these crimes in the whole of the country? 2%. Just 2%. Now just imagine, say, half the crimes are not reported. That's 4%.
Why is this always the case? Why is this always the case with these radical, weird losers? Right? That when you actually look at the numbers, oh my God, all these Muslims, oh, Muhammad is like the most popular names. The Muslims are taking over the UK. They're like 6% of the population. Oh, all these grape gangs, I mean, you look at the numbers and it's never what they assume it or what they make it out to be. Why is that? They just run on pure emotion, pure hatred. In this case, pure coonery.
Why does Jacinta not marching for HIV, which we've got the highest in the world? What about GBV, which, goodness, she could be marching at? What about the high alcohol intake that is happening in South Africa that is creating a lot of the crimes? Is she marching for that? What about the murder rate, highest in the world? Is she marching for that? She should be marching to the police station and keeping the police accounts to that, not hurting fellow African brothers. Now, Stogie T, my favorite rapper in all of Earth, born in Tanzania. Why are we not marching against that? Udazani Zuma, the president's son, President Jacob Zuma's son, born in Mozambique. Why is she not marching for that? What about DJ Fresh, the renowned DJ? Why is she not marching against that? Did you know that we have Khoisan people in parliament in Kenya? Did you know Akaso Man is president of Botswana?
If your country, South Africa, which is one of the wealthiest sub-Saharan African countries, you guys should have great compulsory public education. If they did a good job for you Black Africans, you guys would be higher skilled than the people coming from Congo, the people coming from Zimbabwe, the people coming from Mozambique. So when they come in, they would occupy your low-level jobs, and you would not be competing with them economically. That's number one. So the fact that you think you're competing with these economic migrants only reveals flaws in your existing system, which lets you know that the fat cats at the top, i.e. the white people and the Asians, little buddy, they're the ones that are milking your country and the resources. And some of them go by names like the Oppenheimers. Yes, some of them own entire mines. And it's so funny that the richest people from South Africa are the Elon Musk or the Oppenheimers, the whites. And you guys are so brain dead that you would like to attack your Black brothers who are in the exact same situation that you guys are in.
When you look at the state of the African continent, you cannot remove accountability from the individuals that live there. It's just a fact. If they were, and it's almost a cycle, because maybe they're not as locked in or as cued in because their system is corrupt and their educational systems aren't that good. But if they focused on the shit that actually mattered, they would be able to enact change. Again, look at Burkina Faso. They took over from within. Other African countries could do that, but they're more focused on other bullshit. Let me know you guys' thoughts and opinions in the comments. This shit makes me angry. It does. Will it ever change? Will we ever get to a point where, Africa is what it should be? I can tell you something for free. For 100% fact. Not in our lifetime. Not in our lifetime.